What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome back to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today we're going to look at 3 envelopes here that are postmarked recently back to me. I think one for sure is a basketball success because of where it's been postmarked. But I do want to point out we do have a special guest in the room today, and that is none other than my special assistant here. Dun, da, da, da. There you go. Say hello. This is the artist real life proof that I have a helper with me shooting my videos. He is keeping an eye on me, and we'll call him the director of this video. The way he's sitting there and kind of dictating how I should do things. So odds are he's probably in real life hungry, and that's his clue to saying, hey, come on Dad, I want some food. Quit talking into this stupid camera and give me some food. So anyways, getting back on track. So there is my special guest appearance of my kitty cat, and this first one is postmarked from Raleigh, North Carolina, the Research Triangle region, and there's only one person that I wrote there, and that is former North Carolina Tar Heel / current assistant coach of the Carolina Tar Heels, Hubert Davis, on 1, 2, 3, and 4. It looks like 2 of them are rookie cards. But Hubert Davis played a long time in the NBA. I want to say about 12 seasons, give or take. I am pulling that up as we speak. Looks like 12 seasons. He was originally drafted by the Knicks out of North Carolina. Was a very formidable shooting guard. Him and Allen Houston were a very good tandem for a long time for the Knicks. Not to mention John Starks. Kind of played shooting guard, small forward, more shooting guard than forward. But after 4 seasons with the Knicks, he went and played for the Raptors for a season, then the Mavericks for a couple seasons, a season with the Wizards, a season with the Detroit Pistons, actually 2 seasons with the Pistons, and his final season was with the New Jersey Nets in 2004. So as I mentioned, averaged about 8 points per game for his career. Was a pretty good ball player for North Carolina in the early 90s, late 80s. Was a very strong scorer while he was at North Carolina. I think he got into some announcing after his career, but he has been with the North Carolina Tar Heels since 2012, according to his Wikipedia page. So if you have some Hubert Davis cards laying around, might want to consider sending him care of the University of North Carolina Athletic Department, and he might sign them for you. A realization just came to me that I most likely have a North Carolina Greats card of him, and I did not send it to him to sign. Excuse me. So a mistake on my part not to get that sent in the mail with this package, but maybe if I decide to write him again in the future, I'll include that card. So thank you, Mr. Davis, and we will move on to the next package, and that is postmarked from Indianapolis, Indiana, and it is indeed one of the Indiana Pacers all-time greats. And you may have seen these cards in a previous video when I did my basketball pickups at a card show earlier this year, and that is 4 of 4 from Mr. Billy Keller of Indiana Pacers fame, and also of Purdue University. Mr. Keller spent his entire career with the Indiana Pacers, although it does say that he was originally drafted by the Bucks, so I'm not sure how he became a Pacer via that route, but he is a hometown boy, went to high school in Indianapolis, went to college in at Purdue University, and he spent the 1969 to 76 season playing for the Indiana Pacers. And my cat has just left the room, so I guess he's done producing this video. And he averaged 11.8 points per game throughout his career as a pro. He was on the ABA Pacers teams along with guys like George McGinnis and his college teammate Rick Mount. He won 3 ABA championships in 70, 72, and 73. And also appeared in some other finals. They just didn't win those years. He has led the league in free throw percentage, as you can see from, well, it's team leaders in free throws right there and right there. It'd really be nice if I could get George McGinnis to sign this, but now that he's a Hall of Famer, it's probably going to be a little harder to get George to sign. So thank you, Mr. Keller. Always great to add an all-time great, ABA great, to my collection. I will post the video of the album that I picked up all of these vintage basketball cards. So if you get a chance to look at that, I highly recommend it. There are many ABA defunct teams that are in there, and this was such a great addition to my collection. Thank you, Mr. Keller. So going along those lines, this next success, I believe, is also from an ABA great, and it is indeed from Mr. Byron Beck of the Denver Nuggets and also Denver Rockets, if I'm not mistaken. And he signed one, and he signed this card, and unfortunately he didn't sign above his head, which would have been the most obvious place for him to sign right there. He instead signed the back of the card. So I guess that's better than nothing, if you want to look at it that way. I mean, I guess he figured his name was on the back, so he signed above his name. It's the only thing I can think of. But I see Bobby Jones was on that team, so maybe I'll send it to Bobby Jones and ask him to sign as well. Alright, and finally, this was kind of a unique item I can say I've never received in my entire life. And this was the index card I used to protect the cards that I sent to him. This I wasn't expecting to get signed. Not only did he sign it, he personalized it to me and stuck a penny to the index card. And I had seen other people have successes from Mr. Beck saying that he sent a penny with a cross in it. And I'm like, you know, I got to get one of those. So I gave him the opportunity, you know, sending these. I actually put 2 index cards in there, but he only sent 1 back, which is fine. And not only did he personalize it to me, he stuck the penny in there and also wrote "Trust in the Lord." So good luck with your card collection, Byron Beck, Denver Rocket Nuggets, trust in the Lord. I think that is one of the coolest successes I have ever received. I have never, in all of my mind, thought, oh gee, somebody's going to send me a cross-stamped penny back in the mail with my autograph request. I mean, this is just such a unique thing that I will never part ways with this from my collection. This is something that has hit me in the heart, I guess you would say, that somebody would take their time to share, the Lord in his testimony to give me this penny, and I don't know if he takes these pennies and, does this, with everybody, but I thought this was pretty cool to get this back. Byron Beck was the original big man for the Denver Nuggets / Denver Rockets. Dan Issel was obviously the more notable one, as he, was a Hall of Famer. But Byron Beck, you could make a very strong argument that he belongs in the Hall of Fame. He was a big man that was kind of a hard work ethic type player that would get 13, 14 points a game and pull down 10 or 11 rebounds a game. what better do you need out of your big man than a guy that plays some defense, gets 10 rebounds, and throws in 13 points a game or so? So one could argue that he is a forgotten superstar from the ABA. And I think it's so important, thus the name of my channel, Remember the Greats, Sports, that we remember players like this that are often forgotten, especially in the current NBA. In closing, thank you, Mr. Beck. I really appreciate this heartfelt note that you sent to me. I think it is great that you take your time for your fans to do this. If you have some Byron Beck cards laying around, definitely consider sending them to him. Another thing that you could consider doing, and I just thought of this now, was maybe like a logo card of the Denver Nuggets. They came out in like the skybox, sets early in the 90s. If you just have a logo card of the Nuggets, maybe send it to him and maybe he'll send you a penny too. In closing, I'm going to post this around Christmas time, I think, this video, because I want to share this with, thanking Mr. Beck personally for sending me this wonderful handwritten card, and also the penny that he sent me, but to the viewers out there, remember what Christmas is really about, the celebration of Jesus being born. So I hope you enjoyed this special edition, I guess you would say Christmas edition of Through the Mail Thursdays. Thank you, Mr. Beck, Mr. Keller, and Mr. Davis. I really appreciate you taking your time to sign this. And again, finally, thank you, Mr. Beck. God bless to you as well, and Merry Christmas.